here with Carden Custom Framing in Bismarck with David and Alicia Langang. Tell us a little about Carden Custom Framing.
Yeah, Carden Custom Framing has been around Bismarck, Mandan for over 3 decades now. Alicia and I are actually celebrating our 31st year in business. It's kind of a little pun for us because though it's been 30 years in Bismarck, Mandan, it's our first year in business taking this over from my aunt and uncle, Dennis and Carla Langang. Been pretty much in this same building, same location, corner of Front and Third that entire time, with a great window view of downtown Bismarck.
What made you decide to get into the framing industry?
I'm not originally from Bismarck, Mandan. I've kind of grown up all over the U.S. So to be here in one of the greatest places I've ever lived, because I've married a small town girl and really like this place, I never thought I'd ever be part of a family organization, so to speak. And we've got a lot of family in the Bismarck, Mandan area. But when my aunt and uncle had this, my uncle passed away and my aunt was going to be moving on from selling it, possibly closing it outright, not having a custom frame shop in town, really kind of hit me in a soft spot. Asked Alicia if she was ready to have a potentially life-changing conversation, and we went from there. Yeah. Full hog, bought the business in October of 2019. And then I dragged Alicia down to a framers conference in January and told her to take a couple classes, you know, a nice business write-off while the couple's down in Vegas for a week without the kids. But we've learned an incredible amount as new framers to the industry. And
it swayed my idea to want to help the art community and help design and get my foot in the door.
Yeah.
What type of glass and acrylic protection do you offer?
We've got a lot of different choices when it comes to the glazing, as we call it, as well. We mostly prefer and work with glass. We have really primarily one thickness, but we can work with a lot of different vendors and even some local folks on protection for any piece that we're framing. Acrylic, we really don't suggest a whole bunch. It's expensive, and unfortunately it scratches really easy. Yeah. But the biggest precaution with acrylic is that it doesn't shatter like glass, right? So that's why some folks tend to want to go that route, but the glass we have and the way we frame it is strong and durable for the piece that we're protecting.
And we do offer 5 kinds of glass, from 50% UV rated all the way to 99% UV rated. And then we offer clear and we offer reflection control.
With the top dog being museum glass, which
Yes.
is what of course you find in the museums.
Yes.
But yeah.
Do you offer any archival matting or framing options?
It's been a really fun journey for that. Even in the last year and a half after we came back from Vegas, learning a lot about framing in general and conservation, mounting, conservation, preservation with all items.
Yep.
Most to all of our mat boards are acid-free, which is a very big part of our industry. Acid-free, it means that we're not going to have a lot of that burn-off effect. If you ever get the chance to walk down Grandma's hallway and see that awesome family portrait with the matting and the bevel, you'll notice that that bevel against the image is maybe a little brown or orange, and where it used to be a bright white. A lot of the mats have a bright white core, but what happens is the lignins inside that paper start to burn or off-gas over time if there's not the right UV protection on the glass, if it's not framed up properly, or like we said, if there's just too much acid in the mat boards themselves.
Yep.
So you get that classic discoloring look that we see so much. And what we offer is, it goes against that. So I mean, we have less lignins in the mat board. We do have both museum quality and conservation style mats that protect the piece over time, because it's not just the bevel that burns. If the mat is touching the piece, that can burn the piece as well.
Right, it'll burn the art or the photograph that you have the mat laying on.
I see you have local artists' work featured and available for purchase. Can you tell us a little about that?
We have a lot of local artists that we carry their artwork. Here's an example of one that we recently started carrying. We have several of his pieces here, and along with other North Dakota natives from all over North Dakota, not just Bismarck,
Yeah.
Mandan.
You know, it's really exciting. Alicia getting her foot in the door really got us in the door of the art community. It's something that we've always wanted to be more ingrained in, but we work very closely with the Bismarck Downtown Artists Cooperative, Bismarck Arts and Galleries Association, and the Capitol Gallery, amongst other amazing local artists like Todd Klausnitzer, Paul Newt, Butch Thunderhawk, as you see here, and even some that aren't unfortunately with us anymore, like maybe Pat Schermerhorn, or even other local legends like Rick Sprincenatic. We get to see these folks grace our doorsteps occasionally, whether it's to share new pieces with us, or if it's customers who've commissioned or bought their original pieces and bringing them through the door. That's some of the most exciting work we get to do. I think me and Alicia both thought getting into the framing industry was going to be, we're going to be framing a lot of these family portraits that we grew up seeing on the walls. And it's quite the contrary. We are doing cross stitches, we're doing paintings, acrylics, watercolors, all forms of artwork that we are familiar and unfamiliar with, which makes the day-to-day work pretty interesting and fun.
Yep.
What else do you offer besides framing?
So framing's fun, and it's the bread and butter, but we also know that, you know, especially over the last year, we've had to pivot and look at new options and ways to not only work with customers, but get them in the door to work with us. The one thing that I was really bent on, especially after being down in Vegas last year, learning about our industry, was printing. We had people randomly calling, can you print a photo for me and frame it? Or can you know, I got this image, can we send it to you? Can you Photoshop it, frame it, or print it for me and I can take it wherever? We were hearing that too often for us to say, you know, yeah, there's some places you can go to and not help them ourselves. So we invested in a very high quality Epson printer. It does have some size restrictions right now, but it was a great way for us to start in the printing industry with our customers, being able to offer anything from those small 4x6s on luster paper or matte paper to even, you know, 17 by 50 foot wide canvases, being able to print our own canvases and then stretch them over stretcher bars to provide an extra quality for the house. It's not just a framed object, it's a gallery wrapped object, and it's custom printed and stretched for your family. It allows us to work with a lot of amazing local photographers, not just those painters and sketchers. When they need someone to maybe rely on in printing their amazing photos, we can help them with that right now. But aside from that side, because my passion is always the photography side, and printing and Photoshop and stuff is fun, but that's where the yin and yang for me and Alicia comes into play, because what did you bring into the doors?
So we also brought in art supplies ranging from watercolors, oils, acrylics, papers, charcoal. I have a huge order coming in the next month to get some extra supplies in here to be more diverse with what we're carrying. And yeah, it's been really exciting.
It really is, especially the artistic side. As we've been able to carry these quality art supplies, we work through a vendor that's not being worked with around the area right now, so we're able to get quality art supplies that you can't find anywhere else in Bismarck, Mandan. And we're not here to make a buck off it. We're here to work with the artists because we want to showcase the pieces that their customers are bringing into us, or that we're able to work with them on directly. And if we can't frame it for them, we want to be able to supply them with the tools to get that amazing work done. Either way, it gets them in the doors, smiling, chatting with us. We get to learn more about what their craft is and what their footprint on the community is going to be in the long run.
What is the average timeline for creating custom frames or unique sizes and shapes?
So right now we're out about 4 to 6 weeks on our projects. However, we do carry some supplies here in the store. If you need a quick job done, size restrictions are there as well. But we do have mats and frames and glass all in store that we could, you know, throw something together. But otherwise, yeah, 4 to 6 weeks is kind of our time frame.
We keep it that way. Mostly, it's not dependent on how fast Alicia and I can get the work done, because we're here working, even on our off days. We're here with the kids, picking up frames, stretching canvases, whatever it may be. It's dependent lately mostly on product availability and shipping. I think it's not just us that's feeling that pain. It's multiple industries wide, and we're all in it together. We don't carry all the amazing moldings you see behind us. We don't carry those on hand. It would be nigh impossible to do so. I'd have to have a warehouse the size of Costco to do it probably. But we can still order these in chops or in linear footage and then do the magic of getting them together, assembling them, and it's start to finish. I mean, you come in, you do the design work with Alicia. That process can be as easy as, I've got a picture, I'm really curious on what you would do with it, so here you go. And then Alicia does her magic, and then she sends a couple visualizations with price options, and they go from there all the way to someone coming in and spending, I think we've had people in here for almost 5 hours designing one piece.
Right.
You know, it's a combination of getting those creative juices for us to make sure that we're working with the customer to get the really the presentation they're hoping to get in the long run.
What is your best-selling frame style?
That's a hard question because every project that comes in here, we cater to their own special frame style. So I mean, I don't know that there is one that we could narrow it down to say that there's one frame style that goes out more than another.
The most common one is, your simple frame and single matte. Heck, there's a lot of people who just do a frame and no matte, just glass on top of the image.
Which we don't recommend all the time, but
Yeah,
affordability is always taken into consideration.
Right, it's all about the customer's priorities. Framing for us is an investment, not only for us, but for the customer. Spending the money to encapsulate something for the long run is an investment that you're not going to want to reframe something you spend the money on it the first time.
Right.
So we want to make sure we're doing what's right by the customer, spending that time, picking out the right colors with the 1,000 different options of chops and frames, 1,000 different matte colors as well. We try to do what our eye sees in conjunction with theirs.
Yeah.
But as Alicia said, it depends. I mean, if it's a cross stitch or like an old school family doily, it's going to be mounted and framed differently than an original piece by Butch Thunderhawk or even a print from another local artist because of the different style. We want to preserve the original art, whereas the print version might be a little less valuable. We might have a more a different conservation way to mount and frame that item.
Yeah.
Do you have a personal favorite frame style?
So we picked out a couple of our favorite moldings here. Anything from rustic to more modern. We got a couple of colorful ones here, the blues and the reds. We've been dealing a lot with our metal frames, which are very vibrant in color, and very affordable too. So those are some of our favorites here.
We have a lot of old classical styles too. I mean, you'll see we've got a lot of the old golds. Those are hit and miss with certain customers, but we also work a lot with folks who have those old classical round images. So it's fun when we get a nice classical oval in. We work with a completely different vendor on those, but they're able to shape a molding, an oval frame to fit whatever piece that you bring into our table.
Or circles or rectangles
circles,
or multiple different shapes.
It's a very unique and diverse addition to our framing styles.
Yes. Yep.
How has COVID affected your business?
What a year, right? COVID's been interesting. I would be lying if I didn't say that we have had a positive effect from COVID in regards to, we live in a dynamic community that this unfortunate situation has made a lot of folks come together and support local businesses. There's a lot of divisive issues in the world and that we can all agree on and disagree on, but supporting local businesses and the people in the community has been something that has been unwavering with Bismarck Mandan. I think through me and Alicia's time, it's been sometimes emotional, sometimes very humbling to see how customers react to how we're reacting. We take precautions. We typically on open hours, we wear masks while we're in here. Leading when COVID first started, we had a closed door policy. We weren't sure what was going on. We were taking precautions for ourselves, for our children, for our family as well. So we had the door closed, but we had signs that we were here, just knock, we'll let you in, or come in by appointment. But in that time, it taught us, I think along with other businesses, to pivot and look at what else we could introduce to our customers. So it gave us time to work on our website and branding, getting new...
And the printing and the art supplies and everything that we're trying to touch base on.
Getting the branding on the windows so we're more visible to passersby and catching up with acquaintances so that we could continue who we're working with and grow that as well. It's not always just the framing people we're working with. We're working with the restaurants because if we're not all working together downtown or in just Bismarck Mandan in general, we're not as strong as we would be collectively.
And with that said, I forgot where I was going with that.
It's so smooth.
Oh, dang it. Shoot. I had it while you were talking and then, sorry. Okay, move on.
Nice.
What are your goals for the future?
I don't know if you want to start that one off. I've definitely
Our goals for the future are to continue doing what we're doing. We love what we're doing right now. We love our customers. We love our community. We want to continue growing our art supplies. We want to look into maybe getting a bigger printer and having larger size options for that. Anything we can do to help the local artists and get more of their artwork in here for sale and get their names out into the community more.
I mean, for 31 years, Carden Custom Framing's been one of the premier spots to get your stuff preserved for forever, for generations. Continuing the business on from my aunt and uncle only makes that a deeper and more ingrained value and morality for us. We want to be the best, because if we're not being the best, then no one's going to trust these precious items with us to frame and preserve for their children and their grandchildren. It's Alicia and I. We wake up and we go to sleep talking about this place. We're here on our days off with our children. We're exposing them to how we're doing the work and working together, because this place is our life. And if we don't embrace it as such, it will show in our work. So the blood, sweat, and tears are shed here. They're shed at home while we're discussing the business, while we're having fun as a family. But our goal is to just continue doing what we're doing, but just keep leveling it up year after year and providing what the community wants out of us.
Yep.
Asking them, what do you expect out of us? How can we keep delivering it to you?
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
We're located at 301 East Front Avenue. We are open Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 5:30, and Saturday, 10 to 1:30, or by appointment. If you need us to meet you here on a Sunday or a Monday after hours, give us a call. The number is 224-0802. You can text us as well. We are on Instagram and Facebook, and we also have a website, www.cardencustoms.com.
Yep. Find all the good information there. Again, if you're poking around and you're trying to find something out about us, call, text us, see what's going on. The phone goes directly to our pockets. Even if we're not in the store here, we're off-site, it'll come right to us. We're always excited to talk and work with you.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.